Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Hope we're all having a wonderful Thursday now, which I can't believe it's already Thursday, but sure enough, it is, and we're really seeing some pretty active weather out there, including a big area of severe storms really getting underway as I record this, and that's going to continue into the overnight tonight. We're going to have a couple more days of severe weather as well after this, before finally this big old cold front finally sweeps on through the lower 48, and we have nicer weather to start next week. So that is the kind of game plan for today's video, is to break this down for you region by region, threat by threat, so we all have the latest information and kind of, excuse me, kind of just, everything we need to know about this thing. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. So we'll start here by looking at our hazard map, and you can tell it's pretty active right now. We do have some winter weather advisors and winter storm warnings up here into the northern tier of the country, specifically, especially up there into northern Minnesota, where we're really seeing the worst of the snow right now. And then we're also seeing a big time area of severe storms. You can see we have a tornado watch up here through the kind of Chicago metro area and southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois, and then another big area of severe thunderstorm watch that stretches really all the way from Dallas up through St. Louis. So you can tell a lot of us under the gun for severe weather tonight, although that highest tornado threat will be in this kind of yellow box here. So that's what we're seeing out there right now in terms of those current hazards. And taking a look at radar, you can tell we're already getting underway with these severe storms right now, until we have a big area of broken line of thunderstorms here from kind of central Illinois all the way down towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and even as far south as areas just north of Austin, Texas there. So these storms are producing strong winds, big hail, and even a couple tornadoes right now with these tornado warnings that we have kind of scattered throughout these thunderstorms, at least at the time I record this. Also up here in Minnesota, this is a big area of some snow and rain ongoing, but a lot of this is snow, so we are seeing some snow pile up out there through sections of the northern Great Plains this afternoon, and that will continue throughout the evening. So taking a look at satellite imagery here, look at these area of thunderstorms begin to really explode within the past hour here through the southern tier of the country. And this is pretty impressive looking on satellite, a very classic severe weather setup here with this very strong low pressure and this very strong cold front back behind it, helping to allow these storms to fire up along that front. And with plenty of energy in the atmosphere, those storms are becoming severe. So this afternoon, this is our area to watch out for those severe storms at slight risk, stretching all the way from Chicago down towards the Gulf of Mexico. So again, a big area where storms could become severe anywhere inside this area today. And again, we're already seeing that unfold at the time of recording this. So going into tomorrow, this area of severe weather will become a little less defined and a little less robust, but we will still have some severe storms likely tomorrow here in two kind of distinct areas. One up here through sections of eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, then another area here through much of Louisiana, the Houston area, and then kind of central and southern Mississippi there towards Jackson, having the chance of seeing severe storms tomorrow. But luckily, this isn't really off the charts, and this is a pretty small risk, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this get upgraded to probably a slight risk sometime tomorrow as we gain a little bit more confidence with some of those short-range models. So what I'm going to do now is kind of break this down for you. We'll call it hour by hour, but really with kind of a couple distinct time frames that we'll look at. But right now, what we are seeing here is, again, this area of storms beginning to take shape back here in those places that we just looked at. Excuse me. Sorry. But we're also seeing that snow breakout here through sections of Minnesota and the Dakotas. That is the other big time story right now that we are looking at on our current radar imagery. And as we move this ahead throughout tonight, that area of snow is really going to continue to blossom there into northern Minnesota through much of North Dakota. But on the southern side of this low pressure, this is where we're going to have these severe storms continuing overnight through that slight risk. And as we get later into tonight, I do expect these storms to die down a little bit in terms of severity, but we are going to get a lot of heavy rain tonight through sections of Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, and really just around the Mississippi River Valley there from St. Louis southbound, seeing that heavy rain overnight tonight. And then going into tomorrow morning, as that sun is coming up, still seeing rain here through sections of Louisiana, down towards Mississippi, Memphis, Paducah, Kentucky. Those areas seeing rain tomorrow morning, and still snow ongoing here on the backside of this low pressure up into the northern Great Plains. Now, as we move this ahead into tomorrow afternoon, this is where those other areas of severe weather will kind of come into play. You can see we do have some storms expected to move on through that northern section of severe weather we talked about a couple moments ago. And then that other area down here to the south also having some storms tomorrow afternoon. So we're definitely going to have to watch that as well. Before going into tomorrow evening, into the overnight Friday, we should lose much of that severe threat, but we will have some rain hanging around the kind of Ohio and Tennessee river valleys through much of the day tomorrow and into the overnight as well. So we're going to have to watch out for that. So if you have any Friday plans tomorrow in a place like Nashville, Louisville, Birmingham, definitely watch for that rain going into the second half of the day here. And it'll likely be pretty cloudy much of the day, even if it's not raining through these regions. As you can see, that area of rain continuing to move on through and pretty slowly as well. Some good news though on the backside of this as we go through tomorrow, that snow does look to finally wind down there into the northern tier of the country. So that is something that we can definitely hopefully look forward to going into tomorrow. So looking at snow left to come, still a pretty heavy dose of that snow left to come here into northern Minnesota and northwestern North Dakota. Half a foot to areas close to a foot, still very possible here, especially the closer you get to the Canadian border here into Minnesota. So still a lot of travel impacts to come through this area of the country over the next 48 hours or so. So now moving this ahead into Saturday, we are once again expecting severe weather, and Saturday could be a pretty big time day for severe weather here through the Carolinas, southeastern Virginia, and much of Florida under the gun for those strong storms. So I think especially the coastal Carolinas having that highest chance of some of those strong storms on Saturday, and we'll take a look at why that is now on our next map here. So again, we've talked about the next 48 hours or so, but as we get into Saturday, again, that rain that's left over here across the Tennessee and Ohio River Valley is going to get a bit of a boost of energy here from this low pressure that will likely begin to deepen as we get into the afternoon Saturday. And that is going to help to allow some instability to work into the mid-Atlantic and southeast here, especially the coastal southeast. And that is going to help to bring the chance of some stronger storms here. So anywhere from kind of Williamsburg, Virginia, down towards Raleigh, Wilmington, Greenville, North Carolina, down towards Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Florence, Beaufort, Savannah, anywhere in between there really has a pretty good shot at seeing some pretty strong storms during the evening hours of Saturday. Now, if you're back towards the Greenville, Spartanburg, Atlanta area, and likely even the Charlotte area, I think that threat's a bit lower just because right now the timing at least suggests that this will move through early enough in the day that we won't have that much instability to work with there towards the mountains and Piedmont. But once you get towards the coastal plain, that definitely looks to be a bit different. And you can tell here the model hinting at maybe some of these stronger storms getting and crossing the coastline going into the second half of Saturday. Now, as we get into Sunday morning, this front will pretty much have cleared most of the east, although still working its way on through the northeast, and we can't rule out a couple flurries here in the higher elevations Sunday morning as that back end northwest flow tries to kick in, but it doesn't look like anything too crazy right now. And then as we go into early next week, we really clear out going into Monday and Tuesday before it looks like going into the middle of next week we get another storm system, and this one doesn't look nearly as severe right now. It looks a lot more like a cold kind of springtime system than kind of a warmer, severe kind of weather system. So we'll watch that for next week. So that is definitely hinting at kind of a change than what we've seen recently. We could actually have some rain during the work week next week through sections of the east, believe it or not, and then maybe actually a nicer weekend next week. We'll see. Of course, that's still far enough away that we have plenty of time to iron the details out on that, but we do look to get some kind of different pattern going into early next week. One thing I can guarantee you, though, no matter what, is the temperatures are going to be pretty, I won't say cold, but chilly for late April standards, likely more of a 10 to 15 degree difference in what we would expect this time of year, and likely a 20 to 30 degree difference from what we're experiencing right now come early next week. And you see that here on the map, those colder than average temperatures look to really settle in over the next 6 to 10 days. And also above average precipitation. So again, I think next week could be kind of a cool, chilly, kind of wet time period compared to the warm, moist, kind of severe weather that we've been seeing recently here across the East Coast. So we'll definitely watch out for that. And as we get a bit closer, we'll definitely see if that pattern looks to really lock in. But with that said, I hope you've been out there getting to enjoy kind of this nice springtime weather before it kind of gets put on hold for a little while, at least going through next week. So with all that said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.